Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The Saints camp is going to begin here in a couple of days. On Wednesday, the 27th, is when the Saints open up camp. And we all do assume that Alvin Kamara will be there when the Saints open up training camp. The question that persists around Kamara, as it has all off season, is he going to be there for the season opener, or for the entirety of the season? Remember, back in February, Kamara was arrested out in Las Vegas. There were felony battery charges from an incident in a casino during Pro Bowl weekend. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen the video by now where Kamara was with a group of men who assaulted another man, which led to serious injuries, including facial fractures and injuries to his knees, head, arms. That man is pressing charges. Kamara was arrested after the Pro Bowl, and the legal developments, the court date has been pushed back twice already, and the next court date is set for August the 1st. Now, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN over the weekend reported that the NFL is still monitoring the Kamara battery case. They are monitoring legal developments leading up to the August the 1st court date, and that no firm timetable for a decision on potential discipline has been named. So I want to remind you of a couple of things, because we all became very much acquainted with this a year ago because of the Deontay Hardy DUI and then the Marshawn Lattimore arrest. And largely, we all assumed that Lattimore was going to face a 6-game suspension. Now, we went deep dive into the personal conduct policy, so I'll remind you that if there are nonviolent offenses and the player is a first-time offender, he has a good track record, then the NFL can choose to forego a suspension and just implement a fine or other types of discipline. And that's ultimately what happened with Marshawn Lattimore. Remember, it was a nonviolent offense. That was his first time ever being in trouble, and so he was not suspended. When largely we assume, remember, we all went through the offseason like, what are they going to do at cornerback for 6 games while Lattimore is out? We assumed Paulson Adebo would be there. Remember, they made the deal to bring in Bradley Roby. I mean, at the beginning of the season last year, it was not looking great for what the Saints were going to be at cornerback. But then they bring in Roby. Paulson Adebo ends up having a really good rookie year. Lattimore doesn't miss any time, and it really worked out. But it's hard for me to see that same scenario unfolding with Kamara, because this is a violent crime that he was involved in, or these allegations, the charges against him are a violent crime. Now, remember, there doesn't have to be a conviction. The NFL, kind of like the NCAA, in that they can kind of do whatever they want. I mean, Roger Goodell is judge, jury, executioner in this situation. So there doesn't have to be a conviction with Alvin Kamara for Roger Goodell to levy discipline against the Saints running back. Now, it makes sense that they want to monitor what's happening and wait to see the court proceedings, how it all plays out. But the thing that's more difficult about this is that there's video. There is surveillance video of it. Now, some have mentioned that, there's police have said there's evidence of Kamara putting his hand on the victim's chest to stop him from coming into the elevator. Then the man pushed Kamara's hand away, and that's when Chris Lamons punched the man, and then the rest of the crowd sort of jumped him once he was on the ground. So to what extent Kamara was involved or responsible, that's up for debate, and that's obviously what the NFL is waiting to see. But when you are involved in that situation, and as I'll remind you, it's not a situation where there has to be a conviction for the NFL to levy discipline, it's hard for me to see Kamara getting away with nothing. Deontay Hardy, while his was nonviolent, it was a DUI, and there's very clear verbiage in the personal conduct policy that accounts for that, which is why he missed time last year. So I'm still going to assume that Alvin Kamara is going to miss time this season. I hope sincerely that as the the legal proceedings play out, it's determined that Kamara was not at fault, that he was not an instigator or an aggravator in this situation, and that ultimately he's able to play and doesn't miss any time. I would, as a fan, I would love to see that. As a fan of Kamara's, I would love to see that. Just as a person. By the way, today is Alvin Kamara's birthday, so shout out AK. Happy birthday. Hope it's a great one, and I hope a great birthday present would be a delayed birthday present would be not having to face suspension. But this does continue to bring up as the Saints are right here on the eve of training camp, and there's still this uncertainty around Alvin Kamara, where I'm going to maintain that at some point before the start of the season, the Saints are going to have to add another running back. You've got Kamara, you've got Mark Ingram, who is long in the tooth. We've had that conversation plenty. And, you hope that you might find depth elsewhere. The undrafted rookie free agent they signed out of Baylor, if it's Dwayne Washington who's still there, there are options. I don't know if there are great options. And if you're looking for maybe a more permanent complementary piece to Alvin Kamara, perhaps you look for that, and not even necessarily with a trade, but maybe once you start to see roster cutdowns. Could there be a player that you find somewhere on roster cutdowns? We've seen the Saints do that in the past. Taysom Hill's a great example of that. Taysom Hill was in Green Bay as a quarterback. Sean Payton scouted him, liked him. As soon as he was cut, boom, they picked him up or signed him off the practice squad. He was their guy. So I still think the Saints are going to find another running back this offseason somewhere along the way. Who that is, where that comes from, I don't know. We've gone through every scenario. And listen, it's not just plucked from the air. The Saints have actively tried to sign running backs. They've brought running backs in. We know that they made offers to running backs here this offseason as well. It's just that they've come up snake eyes. And some of the other situations have just been unlucky. Like, we talked about Tre'Quan, and then he had the unfortunate injury while he was working out. So the Saints have essentially, through their actions, made it known that they are seeking help at the running back spot. They're just running short of options for what that may be. You hold your breath, cross your fingers, and hope that Kamara doesn't serve any suspension, is able to play all 17 games, stay healthy, and revert to the form that he's had throughout his career. But I think you have to plan for what feels like an inevitability of him missing time this year as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.